Who else did you look up to? Like, who are your influences for dance?
It probably would be like Janet and Michael.
Well, I was never a dancer, believe it or not. So my third year in college at Bethune-Cookman University, I dropped out the band. I left my music scholarship. Everyone thought I was crazy.
Never would I thought I'd be dancing until I got to college. Black people are less accepting to feminine guys, to me. Just from what I've seen.
It was actually frowned upon for men to be a dancer when I was younger. I know that if I didn't have those things from like our community, like being fed to me, I probably would have looked at B, on Broadway.
When I feel like dancing like a man, I feel like dancing like a man. When I feel like dancing feminine, I feel like dancing feminine. And I feel like I should be able to do that.
Being a dancer, a lot of people try to be disrespectful towards you. So it just kind of, it just was up and down. Like, it was cool because of the money. It wasn't even that much because I was a go-go dancer. I wasn't a performer. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing all of the splits and the tricks and stuff like that. I was on the box or the ball.
To getting away from go-go dancing and that, nature, you are so much more than that. You are doing music, and I've seen you, on social media doing very well. So tell me how you got into music. We are in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are still fighting for LGBT rights, and you are just doing it, like just amazing everywhere. I want to know, do you have any advice for young people of color who are also gay trying to make it in music?
Continue to be yourself. That's the first thing and foremost. Be yourself, be unique, be different. Don't let anyone judge you. Continue to be great at whatever you do. Whatever your craft is, love it and put your arms and your whole heart into it.
Yes, that's great advice.
Gay ass rapper. Yeah, hold up, walk up in the club, straight to VIP. I don't give a fuck about what these niggas say about me. Yeah, so concerned about the fucking tea, but I'm in these streets trying to get money. Don't play me like that, ain't blues clues. Got a little ass, and I know you see them fucking truths. Is you mad cause your nigga shoes? Yeah, you know what niggas like me gonna break them rules. Talk that shit, you can call me your whore, but what your ass don't know is that your niggas ever doing. I was chillin' in the cut, I was drunk with these hoes. No, I'm not a queen, but I stop on these hoes. Hold on, yeah, I'm really trying to figure out why these niggas really spazzing out. Who really popping out? And I ain't even got a motherfucking single out.
You are doing music, and I've seen you, on social media doing very well. You're very nice. Like, you have a very nice flow. You're a rapper. And
Thank you.
You make no apologies that you are a gay-ass rapper, as you like to say.
Right.
So tell me how you got into music.
I was a go-go dancer. I wasn't a performer. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't doing all of the splits and the tricks and stuff like that. I was on the box or just walking around being sexy. But like I said, it had its perks to the point where it was just like, okay, cool, social media popping. Get to link up with other people and be in cahoots with the owners and the promoters and stuff like that. But then I got spiked probably last month because I had started dancing in Orlando. And they didn't do anything about it. Somebody spiked my drink. They didn't do nothing about it, and they knew. And then they replaced me. Yeah, they replaced me, and then that was just that. So, after that, I was just like, oh, well, bump it. So that's when the rapping came about. I've been rapping since I was 15, but I stopped when I came out.
My mother, my grandmother, aunties, or whatever, they used to be like a gospel group back in the day. So, of course, my grandmother became a pastor. After that, like when I was born, blah, 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 I started playing the drums in church. Then I went from there, marching band, then in high school I started rapping. But it was like I was in the studio a couple of times, but it was like, you know what I'm saying, with the Hood Boys, you know what I'm saying. I went out then, and so I don't even have that music no more. So when I knew I was about to come out, I had stopped doing music for a while. Came out, and I was just like, I want to be a rapper. And then I was like, people being too shysty. But from 2013 to 2000, now, or whatever the case may be, it's kind of been like, I just don't give a fuck anymore. And that's what it is. And I'm gonna do music, and I'm gonna try. Like I feel like I was telling a friend earlier, everything that I've done in the last 4 years, everything that I've been through, anything that I've dealt with in the last 4 years, I just now realized yesterday that it was all a plan. Like, when I was telling you earlier, the strip thing and getting all the owners, and, I realized all of that yesterday. That wasn't like one of those hidden motives where I was trying to be an opportunist and, get here, get here, get here, get here. I was telling my mom, it was just like, even though I'm in the LGBT, community or whatever, like, people, it hurts my feelings because people don't take the community as serious. And I came from a small town, so it was just like the gay shit, and you know what I'm saying? And coming to Atlanta, like I said, coming onto the scene, it was just like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're really, like, they're crucial. Like, what? And then, after that, I was like, well, all of these rappers that are out, excluding Big Freedia, because what she do, I call shake music. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't classify it, as that. But nobody's not talking about nothing. They're not talking about the real issues. They're not talking about the pettiness and the shadiness and trying to uplift and, watch out for the big boy, stop talking shit about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, to me, all of this is just childish. So I was like, okay, well, that'd be something to rap about. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else is doing it. They always talking about beating a bitch, sucking dick, or shaking ass. And I feel like it's more to us as a community than that.
So you're a singer, booking shows and whatnot, touring all over, killing it. But I want to know, like, take me back before all of this hecticness of your, crazy busy schedule where, things are popping out for you in such an amazing way. Take me back when you were growing up. Like, how was that? Like, who did you look up to? What were your musical inspirations?
So growing up, I was like a Disney kid, and I was a church kid, because I grew up in a very uber religious household, so we couldn't really listen to secular music. So I didn't listen to very much R&B growing up.
Wow.
I listened to a lot of gospel, contemporary Christian, and Disney. That was about as R&B as it got for me. And then later on in life, right around 9 and 10, when my mom separated from my dad, my music palette got broadened because I got to listen to more different types of music, and that's also the time when music became like a real passion for me. Although I've always sang and I've always loved music, it was during my parents' separation that music really became therapy, and then I realized the therapeutic power and the revitalizing power and the uplifting power of music, and for myself personally. And after I experienced that, I was like, wow, this is amazing for me. I would love to be able to reflect this upon somebody else.
That's amazing. So when you finally, discovered this amazing talent of yours, and also discovered yourself sexually and just being, come to terms with that, how was that perceived within your household? Like, because you did say that you come from a very religious background. Did that cause any, contention, or how was that?
Well, it was so far, they were so far apart in terms of like their maturity. My music came into its maturity a lot earlier than like I came into like my self-awareness. So I was already in New York City, had already done like Broadway tours and stuff like that before I had really come to terms with who I was, how I loved, how I wanted to navigate the world. And so there were two separate things. but they were in conversation with each other, all of my life, because obviously writing music, obviously just living life. They're in dialogue with one another. But when I became around 23, 24, is when I really came into acceptance.
So you mentioned that your family kind of has like a gospel background. How was that growing up, especially when you decided to come out?
Oh God. But no, like it wasn't hard. I mean, it was really hard growing up due to abusive content and shelter to shelter with my mother, and you know what I'm saying. It wasn't the gospel life. Really didn't take a. It wasn't something. It was just like you have to do this, you have to do that because I was going through too much with my family already. So, it didn't affect anything. And then even when I came out, I didn't get to come out. My ex left a voicemail on my mother's phone. And he was basically like, if you break up with me, then I'm going to call your mother. And so that's how that went about. He like told her we fucked in her room. We fucked in the living room, kitchen. When we go out, we don't go to straight clubs. We go to gay clubs.
No.
He twerks. Yeah. And so she found out, but the crazy thing about it, now back in the day, my mother would have been like, "Oh, you gotta get your shit and go." But when she heard it, because I was like helping my sister for prom or whatever, when she heard it, she was just like, "Come here," and I was like, "Mom, helping my sis or whatever," and she was like, "No, come here," and she let me hear it, and then she hit me with the whole, happily ever after. Well, if it's just in the room with me and you're still my son. So after that, it's just been cool.
I think when I was young, and when I didn't have agency, and when I didn't realize that I have agency over my own relationship with the larger world, whether that's the spiritual world, whether that's the physical world, I was always at odds. And I think that at the end of the day, you're always going to kind of be at odds, whether you're straight, gay, whatever, with the world, with spirituality. When you give up agency to somebody else, and somebody comes in and says, "This is how you're supposed to relate to the world. This is how you're supposed to relate to God. This is how God's going to treat you. This is how He wants you to talk to Him based on my own understanding, and you better run with that." And so whenever you navigate the world under those auspices, then you're gonna be at odds. And so yes, growing up, I was largely at odds. I wasn't even addressing it. I wasn't even living it. I wasn't even accepting it. I was living in it was kind of just like a non-factor-ish kind of thing in my life. Well, at some point, I had some people step into my life who loved me and who really loved me. Like my mother, she loves me. She really loved me and really loves me. And I'm so blessed to have her in my life. But it took people walking into my life and loving me unconditionally and saying, Jonathan, Jonathan, I love you.
Show me what you got, girl, make it real hot. Show me what you got, girl, make it real hot. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot. Show me what you got, girl, make it real hot. Show me what you got, girl, make it real hot. Show me what you got, girl, make it real hot. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot. Show me what you got, girl, make it real hot. Cause you be getting it good, and you be ratting it wood, and they be wishing it could. And when you step up in the spot, you be making shit stop. Cause you be getting it good, and you be ratting it wood, and they be wishing it could. And when you step up in the spot, you be making shit stop. Make it hot, make it hot, make it hot.
My 16-year-old self is like screaming on the inside right now just a little bit, because I remember seeing you guys for the first time with the viral video, the Freaky Boys.
Right, our first video.
I had to know whose idea was it. Who came up with that?
It was Pierre's idea, really, because we would watch. Around that time, it was these group of guys who was out, but they only made one video, and the name of the video was like 5-Star Nigga or something like that. Mm-hmm. Was that it? Mm-hmm. And we would sing that song to like everybody. But Pierre always was a poet. He did poetry and stuff like that, stand up, all of that. And he always had like beats on his computers and stuff like that. So he was like, let's record a song, and like as a joke. And we was like sitting there writing it. I'm like, ooh, this gonna sound good. And plus, it was like a lot of drama going on in our life around that time. Some things I won't speak of. But anyhow. So I'm writing about stuff that I'm going through. I guess he was writing about stuff he was going through. And just being playful with it. We wrote it and did it. Like, we did it like 50 times. Really. It was all my fault.
Yeah,
because we couldn't get past my part to get to his part. We literally did his part in one time. But it took me like 50 times. And so we recorded it and then we posted it on Facebook. It wasn't even on YouTube. We put it on Facebook.
It went on YouTube eventually, but we first put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Before we put it on YouTube.
And then it became like the next day we was just like, I woke up to him screaming like, oh my God! I'm like, why are these people following me? I had like 60,000 more followers on Twitter. I'm like, what did we do?
And it just was everywhere, like in the middle of the night while we were sleeping. Like it was
and
literally overnight to say.
I'm seeing my notifications just like blowing up, but I was new to Twitter. He was already been on Twitter. And I'm new to I'm like, okay. Until he screamed, and then I'm like, what the hell? He was like, we are on media takeout. Like, what is media takeout? I didn't know what it was. And then it went from there. Like, since then, like, it's just been really, really good for us.
Yeah. That's an understatement, yeah.
Yeah.
Like people are really, like, catching on. Like, they have it from jump. Like, it's crazy that something that started as something silly, like...
I know, I always say that.
It's something that's so serious now because you guys are good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If this place is hopeless, then it's just a phase. Oh, nah, baby, what's my name? Don't stop. The music sounded too good to me. I'm crazy like the enemy. People can feel me, they say I think I'm a girl, but then I tell them not really. I'm from the west side of Charlotte, but I stay rolling the Phillies. I think the industry ready, so can I start making meals for travel? Like Rihanna.
You are not only a musician, a host, you are a dancer, you're a rapper, you are a full-on artist and a personality. But I know you from your music. And that's where I first like connected.
Look, my music is the most intimate piece of my heart that I can give to people. Interestingly enough, like, you know, I'm classically trained in 7 different instruments. Piano, I can sight read like that. I don't really show that gift though. I just kind of like, you know, use it to my own advantage. But music is my baby. Music comes from here.
So you're from North Carolina, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I am. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Ooh-wee. Now, I'm from the next state over, Tennessee.
Okay, which part?
Nashville. Music
City.
City.
I have family in Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look out. South boys. Now, I know what it was like growing up in the South. I want to know, for you, especially, you know, us both being black gay guys, how is that for you growing up in Charlotte?
Well, I'll say that, when I was adopted, I am adopted.
Oh, wow.
I was shown the nicer side of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I didn't really experience, like, you know, bullying to the furthest extent. But, you know, we all get picked on as kids or whatever. And, but I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? I think I had a very normal existence, not bullied too much. Everybody knew I was gay before I knew I was gay. And I was just like, okay, you know, I'm just living my life. And then I was rebellious against it because gay at a young age had a negative connotation. So it was like, oh, no, I'm not gay. But then I just stopped caring. Then when I came out, everybody already knew, so they accepted me for walking in my truth. And I became a commodity. It was pretty cool.
And you're from Chicago.
Both of us are from Chicago.
How was that?
Hard.
Like, growing up in Chicago and being so outspoken and, like, bold, like both of you.
We always had these personalities. Now, don't get me wrong. We're more outspoken now.
Yeah.
I can say that.
Because we can be.
Yeah.
It's like,
but
we have that privilege.
Yeah. Like in school, I was always the talkative one. I always got the you get out of my class because you're talking too much. Because I would finish my work and I would be so bored. I don't have nothing else to do but talk and distract other students or people. And my mom always told me I talk too much. I need to stop talking. You know, that type of stuff. So, and I think that Pierre too. When I first met Pierre, I didn't like him because he was loud. Like he walked in the room loud, and from that day forward, I didn't like him.
Wait, how'd y'all meet?
A dance team in high school.
Yeah.
We both were on the same dance team. We were like 15, 16 years old.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
He was loud though, so I was like, he too loud. Like I did not. It was. I wouldn't say that I didn't like. Well, I didn't like him, but I didn't show him that I didn't like him because I always been a welcoming person. I just didn't talk to him like that. I talked to his friends.
Gotcha. Your face is saying a lot right now.
We had our differences. We cool now.
Yeah.
What are some of your influences? Because like you guys were talking, you guys got into it.
Yeah.
I can't repeat because my mom's probably
real life.
Right, it is real life. For me and P are vulgar people anyway. Like we talk mess, we talk crap.
No
say
filter.
things. Yeah, we have no filter, right? So, and then around that time, we was listening to a lot of Trina.
Lil Kim. Big Mama Thing.
Yeah, we was listening to a lot of people. At that time, I was really into like Young Jeezy and Lil Wayne. Like, they're my two favorite rappers. And Kanye, well, around that time, he wasn't. It was just Jeezy and Lil Wayne. So,
you like Kanye around that time.
I did.
I think.
Maybe. I don't know. I always liked Kanye. He just wasn't my favorite at that time. Right now, he's one of my favorite rappers. I just love everything about what he do.
I want to know, do you have any musical influences or biggest music inspirations?
I have 5, 6.
Okay.
Chance, and you're gonna be like, what in the hell? Like all of them are different. Chance the Rapper. The reason behind him is because, you know what I'm saying, his music is just crazy. And for him to get, those Grammys off his, first EP is just like, oh, whoa. So that was, okay. And he's 23, so I was like, okay, cool. Cash Doll.
Love her.
Yeah, I love her. Only reason, and people, you know what I'm saying, they be hating on her, but I love her because she always talk about, bitch, I was laying in bed with 5 sisters in one bed. Like, this is where I came from. I stripped. I got my money together. And then, I did my thing. So, I fought with her. Tiana Taylor. I like her because, you know what I'm saying? Her music's dope. Don't get me wrong. I met her before and all of that. But, her style is sick. Kalani, she, you know what I'm saying? She speaks about real life shit. And Tink. And Tink is just that bitch. I don't give a fuck what nobody say.
So I remember the first time I listened to you, like I saw your YouTube clips and whatnot, and you playing the piano and like just freestyling, and I'm getting the Holy Ghost just watching you. But I remember the very first video I saw was your Nicki Minaj tribute video. I know. But listening to your music and getting inspired myself and seeing you pay tribute to, a female rapper who's killing the game right now. I want to know, speaking of inspirations, what are some of your musical inspirations?
Nicki Minaj is a huge musical inspiration for me. Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, I love the Angie Stones. I'm really getting into Jack Jones. She's a new artist that's out here right now. Esperanza Spalding.
Yes.
The thing that she puts into her music is very immaculate. Missy Elliott is a great texture in everything music. Katy Perry's doing all right now.
I sometimes sit back and I watch and I watch your feed and I watch your videos sometimes. I'm like, why isn't he like on my TV right now? Why isn't he like 10 times bigger right now? Like, what do you think is or has been some of the roadblocks in you getting further to where you want to break into mainstream?
Well, first and foremost, mainstream is the Hollywood dream. That is what is perpetuated in our society as successful. Now, I kind of redefined my success into doing things that make me happy. You know, I'm an attention whore. I've always been an attention whore. That's not going anywhere. So the more attention that I can acquire, it'll make me feel great. Okay. I feel like some of the roadblocks will consist of me being so multifaceted that you can't really channel which one you want. Now, the thing is, when you're selling yourself, you're like, well, I'm a jack of all trades. No, we need a writer.
Yes.
Or no, we need a singer. Or no, we need a rapper. I'm like, well, I'm all of those things. You cannot be all of them. They don't get it. So what you're going to have to do, it takes time. You're just going to have to show everything, continue to expose. So that's one thing, being multifaceted. Also, you know, being LGBT and being very proud about it, I think it disarms people, but I also think that it can harm the advancement of where I'm trying to go sometimes. You know, I look at less talented females be stupid, be successful, you know, and, you know, people who play costume, they're, you know, being successful when I'm showing you authentically, this is who I am. It's not a character. This is some, you know, this is me authentically. And I think because social media has taken such a pivotal part in our society, you know, I'm such an avant-garde creature, it takes you a minute to digest, honey. I'm just not going to be the stupid boy, you know, hopping, bobbing, and popping his ass in Walmart. I'm not going to put on a costume for you. I'm going to show you who I am. And eventually you will catch up. Just hope it's not too late, because I might be in them Africa, being a celebrity over there.
Hey.
You know, so I go where the check goes. But, you know, I think that's a roadblock too. LGBT, but, you know, I've never really looked at that as a challenge, so it never really manifests as a challenge for me.
Gotcha.
When we first started, LGBT artists didn't like us, or LGBT people didn't like us. Our main demographic were teenage girls.
Girls who identify as straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we deal with those type of adversities and like, but now I think it's more well, people are more welcoming. People are more understanding. Of course, you got those people like we went on GCI and they played our song and they let people call in. And some people was like, oh my God, I like that, they can play on the radio. But you also had those people who called in was like, I would never listen to this. I wouldn't let my kids listen to this. And there was no vulgar stuff in there. It was no like cursing. It was a clean song. It was like a universal song. Yeah, we tripped off it for a long time.
Because that should be the main people who are actually feeling it.
Yeah, that's what we thought. And then we had our first showcase in Chicago in 2000 and, what's that, 12? Wait, 2010. 2011, we had our first showcase. And it was literally all our girlfriends. But it was a lot of people in the community too. But it was majority of like girls, women.
So, I know you spoke about not being taken seriously, you know, as, you know, the LGBT community goes, and also how it's kind of rare to see black gay men kind of uplift each other. I want to know what has been the biggest obstacle for you trying to get into music, facing those two, you know, struggles.
It was just the fact that me getting into music before I came out. It wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I got picked on through school, but high school, I, you know, started popping. So it was just like it wasn't nothing because, you know, I was still cool with everybody. But when I came out, and it was just harder for me to get into music, just because it's like you have to look at all of the artists. Like, I don't even want to call no names, so I ain't gonna be shiesty. But you know what I'm saying? Their careers did not last long. People who are a lot bigger than me, they have a huge audience. They have a platform, but they release something and nobody's, you know what I'm saying, supporting it. So when you look at stuff like that, it just be like, I mean, well, what we doing all? I mean, why are we doing all of this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? Y'all just gonna talk about each other. Y'all not gonna, or nobody's not gonna support each other. So that was my biggest obstacle, trying to, you know, make sure I was comfortable with myself and confident within myself to make sure that I can push forward.
It, like I said, it's hard to please everyone. It's we just take up a range of a lot of things, and everyone isn't gonna like it, but it was just shocking to see like how many gay people didn't like us, and it was like, we doing this for y'all.
And then we would make songs for like the LGBT community. They didn't know that we made songs like that. A lot of people attached us to being a freaky, type.
Like just making these gutter songs.
Nasty.
But we have so many other songs.
Yeah. That's like hit, like party type records.
Yeah, and we have like songs like for people who are like who battling suicide, depressions. Like we have some like deep stuff, but that's not what people search for. And when you look us up, you see the freaky, the raunchy, the gutter stuff, the gutter snipe,
which is also fun too.
Which is also fun.
It is fun. We used to try to make people accept us in being artists. Then we reached the level where we was like, either you gonna like it or you're not gonna like it, and that's just it. We're not gonna try to make you like what we do, because this is what we like to do.
Now you brought up something that I really want to touch on, is that, a lot of people are not gonna always understand how open you are with your sexuality, and how you just embrace all of your amazingness, I like to say. So I want to know, has there ever been like a standout instance where, because I see people like on social media like Troye Sivan, who's that other kid, Ricky Dillon, people who are also in the LGBTQ community, and they're little white boys, they're Caucasian. Do you think that there's ever been a standout moment where your color or sexuality or the combination of the two have impeded any opportunities for you?
Specific instances, I will have to say no. This is the thing. If it did happen, I consciously program my brain to perceive it differently so that I don't walk in that light. So, of course, of course it happened. But I always try to reinterpret a situation to better my spirit and not hold me down. So I can't give you a specific instance where I was directly discriminated against for being black or being gay or anything like that. I'll say there's been some missed opportunities that I think if I was a different type of person, it would have, got me in the door. But what I will say is that I have to learn to play the hand that I'm dealt, and I didn't play the hand right. It was my fault. I accept responsibility. But has anybody called me a faggot, or has anybody said you're too gay for this or too black for this? Hey, no, not, because I'm crazy as hell.
Since we're in the midst of the Black Lives Matter movement, and we're still fighting for LGBT rights, and just last year we had the horrific Orlando Pulse shootings. What is the biggest fear you face, in that scene as a black gay
man? Because I live in Orlando, of course. It's just it hasn't been no racial. It hasn't been no racial issues. It hasn't been like oh my gosh, I'm scared. But my biggest problem here in Orlando, I'm not even on the scene. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really. They don't have nothing for the the blacks. Like they have Woodstock on Saturdays, and then that's a promoter from Atlanta who's coming all the way down here every Saturday to do that. And then on Tuesday nights is at PH. But it's just like nothing really here. So it's like it's not a scene for me to really be on. But the security here is still to a minimum. Like anybody can walk into you know what? Okay, because see, I'm different with that. I'm very much so. It's a place for everything. If I'm going to the library, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "What's up, bitch?" You know what I'm saying? That's how I am. That's how my mother kind of raised me. So it's just like I would definitely tell them like, pick an area where you can be yourself. It's not gonna be a problem. Like, don't go to the hood and then gonna have 30 inches of hair down your back with a crop top on and a skirt, and you just showing out because it's. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I stand for LGBT, of course, but it's just like
that's real.
Realistic.
Yeah.
This is our society is really fucking small. Right. Where is the security? Like Woodstock is one, PH is one, Stonewall is one, Savoy is one, and these are bars
like closing at 2:00, gay bars, gay clubs, whatever. And you can still just walk in there. They don't pat you down. I was in the club with one of the Orlando survivors, and he had a gun in his pocket, sitting in the club. Yeah, I felt it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who what would you say to the young black men out there who are afraid, especially now that we're living in Trump's America? Like, what advice would you give to them who are kind of afraid to kind of be themselves and to go out and to live their life?
Well, what I would say to the children of the world would be to continue to have that light about you that is desensitized to all of these differences. I don't necessarily feel like they're as aware of what happens as we are. They're growing up with technology. They're growing up with, you can ask Google. My little three-year-old little cousin asking Google how to make brownies. What do you mean? So, like, I think they're becoming genius. My only thing I would say is don't be lazy. Be aware, but do the work. Because everything is instantly given to you, you possibly feel like, okay, well, we're right here. All this knowledge is coming in. I'm accepting these different values. Oh, I can sit on the couch and eat potato chips all goddamn day. No, get your ass out there and make a difference. I think our job in our generation is to bring awareness to it. Well, why is it like?
You can't let who you are scare you into thinking that you're not good enough or you're not great enough. Like, you literally have to walk around knowing that you're the shit. Can we curse? Yeah. Literally. Yeah, like, you literally have to walk around like you're the shit. Like, you cannot be afraid. I'm not saying that I was always like this, because I wasn't. And that was before I was gay. I was scared to be a black guy. I was scared to be, then I came out gay. I was scared to be a black gay guy. But learning who I am and learning like the power I have and the power I have to change the world, I cannot be fearless. I cannot be scared of anything. It's impossible.
At the end of the day, honestly, you get to focus on whatever you want to focus on. You get to dramatize whatever you want to dramatize. We get agency as adults to define those steps for ourselves and define our stories. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to share. Because there's a little boy, there's a little girl, there's a little trans person, and they need to hear a story of joy. They don't, and that's what I want to be. I want to be that story of joy, and resonate with them that way.
So, in doing this since you were 19, what has been the biggest lesson you've learned within the music industry, and what's next for you?
Stay humble and stay open. Those two things. If you can stay humble, three things: stay humble, stay focused, and stay open. So if you can stay humble, there's just so much more that you can accomplish. If you can stay open, there's so many more doors that you can walk through. And if you stay focused, you can do this for the long term. You can really create a legacy for yourself that's going to really leave a mark on the world. So yeah.
If you have a passion for music, or if there's something that you really are interested in, do it. You can talk about it all you want to. That's a lot of people do. They like to talk. Well, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'll make this happen. You have to really put your best foot forward and make sure you do the things that you like to do, because you're not going to be happy until you do that. You can do all these other things, but you're not going to be fulfilled until you do those things that you really want to do. And if it's music, do it. Don't let people deter you from wanting to make music about whatever you want to talk about. You can talk about animals and how much you love animals. If that's what you want to talk about, do it. Just make sure it's quality work. Make sure your business is together, and, be the best you.
And be on your shit.
Yeah, do
your research. Like, it's being a gay artist, like, it is so hard. Like, because it's like you already got 2 strikes on you, because gays are hard to please, and then straight people don't want to see gays. So, well, some straight people. So, you literally have to grab people's attention and be like, okay, you the shit. Like, you have to make them get out of the mindset of watching, this is a gay person about to perform. Like, you have to get that out of their head and just show them, like, you the shit. So,
like, I'm an artist.
I'm an artist, and I'm doing my shit.
I'll be putting out more singles this year. Probably put out a whole new EP by the end of the year. Just release some singles first. Obviously, I'm on a tour. I'm in Texas right now. I leave in a few hours. I leave in like actually an hour and a half from my hotel to go to the airport. I go back home for a few hours and pack up to go to Europe tomorrow. So I'll be in Europe for a few weeks. So I have a pretty busy schedule. What's next for me is get as many shows as possible for the next year or so. Like, I just want to just continue to perform, touch as many lives as possible.
I got proposed with the business deal, so I'm opening my own club out here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Once I get that off the ground, I'm going back to the West Coast to continue doing what I was doing. There's a show called Stripped on Bravo, and I have a guest. I'm a guest in the show. I'm a guest. I'm a very eccentric guest in the show. Also, the Robert Irvine show, I had to go on there and handle some business, so that's going to be extremely entertaining. Awesome. Musically wise, I don't know if you remember the Wendy Williams tribute, those two dancers.
Yes.
One of them is dancing for RuPaul's Drag Queens. The other one is opening a business, and he's been on Disney and Broadway and things. I think a reunion is in store, so we might be planning a tour here in the next couple of years. We're going to get that off the ground, and with the more marketability and exposure that we all get, the better it's going to be for the tour. So we're putting that together long form.
My album that's due to come out this summer, it's called Category Closed. It's like it's so much to do. And we're planning a tour. You just got to look out for it and see.
What's the ultimate game plan with Freaky Boys? What's
Take over the world.
End goal.
End goal. It's no end goal. We're going to continue even with, like, we want to leave a legacy, for one. I want us to be the first openly gay artists, rappers, to, like, win a Grammy, to get a #1 Billboard record. That's a huge accomplishment that we want to achieve. And I want to just show people that we can do it. We're just like the straight people. We're just like them. Probably more talent. Probably more talent.
A little bit better.
Because we're more well-rounded. Some people like to limit themselves, and we gotta go out there and do anything. We're open to endless things.